Assalamu alaikum. Today we'll start chapter 1 tissue, and the tissues are of two types. They are plant tissues and the animal tissues. And we know that a group of cells of similar or different type having common origin means same origin. They having the same type of cell, you can say, and they specialize to perform particular function. Those to perform specific function is known as tissue. So let's start plant tissue. Plant tissues are of two types, mesomeric tissues and the permanent tissue. Mesomeric tissues, they are made up of young actively dividing cells. Means they are actively dividing cells. They undergo repeated division to form new cells. Means they are the cells which divide to form the new cells. And the word meristematic, that is derived from the meristose. Meristose means divisible. So the word mathematic is derived from the Maristotle's M-E. Here it's written M-E-R-I-S-T-O-S. This is the Greek word, and the meaning of this Maristotle's is divisible. So the mathematic tissues are the actively dividing cells. These tissues provide new cells that differentiate into specialized tissue for the development of new organs. So the function of mathematic tissue is to bring about growth in length and and to increase the thickness of stem and roots. Meristem having the following characteristic: they they have closely packed cells with little or no intercellular spaces between them. So they are closely packed cells, and the cells are more or less alike in shape, being either spherical, oval, or polygonal. So they usually same shape. These cells are the of having the same shape. They are living cells, and they contain dense protoplasm. Protoplasm, nucleus plus cytoplasm, is known as protoplasm. So dense cytoplasm and dense cytoplasm is there along with the nucleus, with a thin cell wall and large centrally located nucleus. Large nucleus is there, which is located in the center, and vacuoles are either very small or absent. So here in the mesosomatic cells, the vacuoles are absent, or if they are present, then they are small in size. They are divided into three categories on the basis of their location. They can be categorized into three categories: apical, lateral, and intercalary meristem. Apical, this is actually the figure which shows these three type of mesomeric tissues. Apical, which is present at the apex, means like here apical meristem. So uh, which help in to increase the length of the plant. And lateral, they are laterally present, uh, here they just having the lateral, they just grow laterally like this. So they increase the thickness of the stem. So the mestem which are present laterally on the stem and root, which increase the thickness of the stem and root, are known as lateral mestem. And intercalary, they are present usually along the internodes. Along the internode to increase the length, or to help in arriving the new branches. You just see here, this is apical meristem, which is present at the apex. They are the lateral meristem. They grow laterally to increase the thickness, and they are the intercalary meristem at the base of the internode to increase the length of the internode. So they are intercalary meristem. This is apical meristem at the apex, and this is lateral meristem. Here is the exercise on the page number 13. Here we already discussed it. It just mentioned on the a group of actively dividing cells are called mesomeric tissues. Tissues found at tip of root and shoot are called apical meristem. Tissues are made up of closely packed living cells that have centrally placed nucleus, that is, mesosomatic tissues. Mesentems are responsible for increase in growth of the stem. Width means thickness. So they are the lateral meristem. An example of lateral meristem is cambium. Now, permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are made up of cells which have lost their ability to multiply. Means they lost their ability to divide. So they are not actively dividing cells. They lose their capability of division. So they are not capable to divide or multiply. So they are known as permanent tissues. It means mesosomatic tissues. They are the actively dividing cells. When these cells are lose their capability of division, then they are known as permanent tissues. So permanent tissues having some characteristic. They are composed of a group of cells which have lost the power to divide. Means they cannot divide. They acquire the specific shape and size, and they are not capable of division. They acquire definite shape, form, form and size, and these tissues are made up of cells that they may be living or dead. Thin wall or thick wall. Means these permanent tissues, they can be living, they can be dead, they can be thick wall, they can be thin wall. The nuclei of these cells, if present, is located at the periphery. Means like in mesosomatic cells, they are present in the center, but here if they are present at the periphery. If they are the living cells, they are the present at the periphery. If they are dead, then the nucleus is not there. Permanent tissues are of two types: simple permanent tissue and the complex permanent tissue. Now let's start simple permanent tissue. So here simple permanent tissue divided into uh, two type of cells. So they are divided into two type of cells, that is dermal tissues and the ground tissues. Dermal tissue, they are the tissue which forms the protective covering like epidermis. Epidermis is a dermal tissue that forms the covering of young plants, young part of the root, stem and leaves. So they are the protective. This dermal tissue, they form the protective layer. Epidermis and leaves secrete waxy coating also. We know that cuticle, the waxy coating which is present on the leaf is known as cuticle. Cuticle, cuticle, and that helps the plant to retain water and prevent it from the drying out. Means it prevent from the transpiration. It prevent the water loss, because we know that the stomata are there in the leaf. So this waxy coating it prevent from the water loss.